Hello, lovely. So it's March 23rd, and there's been a lot going on in a very short period of time. I mean, for me, for the world, for my country, for me, over the past 3 weeks, a period of pretty powerful spiritual discernment as I grapple with what I feel called to do, which is to organize a walk, the Liberty Walk, a walk across America from Washington State, Seattle, to Washington, D.C., leaving on July 4th. I'm organizing this walk. I'm not planning to do it by myself alone. Welcome, by the way, if this is your first time to my channel and you're hearing me talk about walking across the country. This is a tarot channel. but but yeah, this sense of calling, of this moment bringing forth this desire for me to walk holding, I mean, really a pilgrimage, walk holding what is most dear to me, this sense of what this country is, what it can be, the promise of this land, the promise of liberty. We've never realized it. We've never fully enacted it in our history. We've in many ways countermanded it. We've gone against our values, but that promise is here. And meeting that, and meeting my neighbors, meeting this land step by step, slowing down the movement of connection, right? Walking to connect, walking to bring us together, right? Walking to reunite what has been fragmented and pulled apart. E pluribus unum, that Latin phrase that the founders of the United States of America picked as our motto in 1776. E pluribus unum, from the many, one, right? That celebration of individuality, right? Of the kind of individuality that is only possible when we really come together as community, recognizing our many, many parts. How the whole that comes together enables each individual, can enable each individual to fully realize its singularity, our singularity, me, you, each of us, right? This is this beauty of freedom, of liberty, of what this country can mean, what this country can hold, what it can uphold. So all that's super active for me and has been calling forth this image of walking across America, which I'm now putting into place as a plan, trying to build it, needing lots of help in that building of infrastructure, of communications, figuring out the route, figuring out the stops along the way, making contact, getting the word out, getting support, getting each other inspired. And in the context of all that, I've also been doing these wobble readings. I'll put a card up here if you've never heard of my wobble reading. It's based on my chariot spread, a 3-card spread, where the first 2 cards that correspond to the sphinxes or the horses in the chariot card, the 7th of the card of the major arcana, those 2 horses, those 2 sphinx, representing what's wobbly right now, what's in question, what's in play, helping me as I do a wobble reading to get a sense of what am I even asking, what's unclear to me right now, what brings me to my cards at this point. And then after I've pulled those 2 cards, pulling a 3rd card that kind of holds the wobble in a really good question. That way that when we can figure out the really good question for ourselves, we have something that points us toward the future. So I've been developing actually a larger spread in the context of my own sense of calling or being summoned to do this work that I'm calling the Awakening spread. And some of you have seen me use that spread. It's based on the Marseille version of the Judgment card, of the 20th Trump card. And it has buried in it, or contained, embedded within it, a wobble spread. So here's an image from the Gassmann Marseille, Terre Marseille, I think 19th century-ish. Here's an image from that deck of the Judgment card. And here's an image of the spread. So that the first three cards that get pulled, those two onlookers, and then the trumpet of the angel. That's essentially a wobble spread. The two onlookers helping present the issue, helping present what's here, and then the trumpet is what is called forth from that wobble, from that sense of this moment with its complexity and its ups and downs, its ins and outs. The way that every moment contains tension, contains movement and aliveness, and contains a question, I think. And so the trumpet, as that third card, like the charioteer in the chariot, that third position, third card that you pull in the spread, is really what gets called forth, what is calling forth the question that's being called. And then the fourth card in the spread is the querent, as they are in this moment. And then a fifth card, which is the angel herself, himself, themselves, right? The angel that supports and protects and guides. That some of you have heard me talk about the talisman function of tarot, the part of the tarot that's a tarot card can always be read as a supportive blessing, resource for the querent in that moment. So that fifth card is the angel. I thought today I would do an awakening reading. And often, as I've been playing with this reading lately, and by the way, I'm using, I think this is the third edition of the Silhouettes Tarot, and it's got really great cardstock, pretty fun holographic gold edges, and just Masa Septembers, just really fun graphics, vibrant colors, silhouette outlines of the images, and it's a really, really just fun, light, and yet somehow deep at the same time tarot deck. I'm going to use this deck to do an awakening reading, an awakening spread. And normally what I was going to say, I guess I started to say, is as I've been playing with this spread over the past couple of weeks, it's brand new. It's been a spread that has been a way of helping a querent kind of think through a point of decision, clarify what they need to do, what their calling is, what they're being called to do. Right now, I'd like to use this spread as a way of talking about what needs to be embraced. That image of calling as enabling us to get at and to integrate those bits of ourselves, of our world, that we have maybe left in shadow. I'm aware right now that we're at a time where a whole bunch of people feel like something is very messed up and that they need to act and they need to push. And there are a whole bunch of us who perhaps feel like nothing's wrong, or nothing's really that wrong, or things are always kind of wrong, but people who don't feel impelled toward action. And every shade in between those two extremes of everything's fine, nothing's fine. And how do we meet all of the parts of ourselves, all the parts of our environment to find unity? The Judgment card is a picture of what is being called forth. It's also a picture of bringing out what has been buried and bringing it to the light so that it can become part of a vibrant whole, so that the dusty bones can be enfleshed again, so that what has become broken or ground to bits can be made whole, so that things can come back into unity. So I want to do an awakening spread with the intention of reading into the fragmentation of our world right now and the possibility of making things whole. So I'm going to pull two cards. These two cards are first the two onlookers in the spread, in the original imagery of the card, of the Judgment card. as a way of characterizing what is at odds right now, where things are wobbly right now in our world. So again, I'm kind of reading, this is a broad reading for our world, for our moment right now. And so if it resonates for you, take it. If it doesn't resonate, oops, we had a jumper. The jumper is the Fool. I'm going to tuck him back in. Yeah, let's just go, boldly go into this. Let's see. If it resonates for you, great. Take it. If not, just go with the flow. 1 card. 2 cards. Okay. We've got the 9 of Wands and the 3 of Cups. So, just right off the bat, the possibility of community. Look how pretty these cards are. The possibility of community, the sense of hypervigilance, of vigilance, that the 9 of Wands, that beat up, still standing strong, holding forth, standing firm, solitary, connected, music, fire, the music that these muses, these graces are making, that watery world, the fiery world, everything's burning, and the cat is alert. Its ears, I like that little detail of the ears that seem like they've been kind of bitten off in a fight, and the cattails, the 9 cattails. And then this just, the mermaid, watery muse, grace beings, shimmering and dancing to their music, filled with starlight and song. So community, vigilance, celebration, cheer, happiness, and then this solitary wariness, strength and valor and community. So, I'm feeling that way in which we are torn right now, insofar as we may feel cut off from our communities, cut off from the possibility of that coming together, of that collective music. And then, this alert soldier stance, right? How do we pull this 9 energy and this 3 energy together? What comes out of that? This is the trumpet call. This is the trumpet call, the 3rd card that answers to that tension, that calls forth, is called forth from that tension. Whoa. Hibernation. Oh, this is an extra card in this deck. So, yeah, this sense of I want to know what the artist says about this card. But for me, this feels like, okay, something is having to go dormant, go to rest in the midst of this tension, and that calling to kind of hunker down so that something may emerge in the winter. I mean, it does feel like what is being called is a kind of long game of being willing to stock up our resources and hunker down, right, through this time. I also feel like this hibernation is a gestational energy. I don't know what are those. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. It looks like a squirrel. Are those its feet? I'm gonna see what the little guidebook says. The long shimmering winter is coming. Squirrels carry winter fruits. Okay. Yeah, squirrels carry winter fruits, sliding into the dream fragrance, dreaming of blooming spring. Oh, yeah. I've been thinking how, I've said this in a previous video, I think, how we're all summer babies in, Game of Thrones terms, and winter is coming. Yeah. So how do we settle down with the fruits of this winter and wait for the blooming spring? Okay, that makes sense. That what is being called forth is really a time of pulling the energy inward, right? Pulling the energy inward. Now for me, that's going to look like a pilgrimage. With this slow contemplative movement across the country. So not so much hunkering down, although in a way that step-by-step movement of a pilgrimage is about a kind of pulling the focus into this moment. The pilgrim walks toward a destination, but each step of the way, it's 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot. I'm going to pull another card right now. Well, I'll leave that card. I'm going to put the querent card here. And the querent this is a collective reading. So the querent is us. How do we relate to this moment of hibernation? This calling of hibernation. King of Swords. Yeah. Okay, that willing heir of air, that movement of discernment and clarity and wisdom, being very precise, right? I love the stillness of this king. God, this deck is gorgeous. I don't read enough with it. It's just gorgeous. I love how the king himself, this cutout, you see the sky right through him. That spaciousness, that, I think of the King of Swords as kind of the epitome of this calm, wise, expansive stance, just that opening of mind, not the mind not like cold, rational logic mind. The swords don't mean that to me. And they mean that, but not just that. They also mean the mind of contemplation that can just expand and open like the sky and hold the wholeness of the world. So yeah, so can we be that clarity? Now is a time for us to be in clarity. And the 5th card here, the angel. What is our resource? What guides us? What blesses us in this time? What can we lean into in this time? I'm just going to shuffle one more time. Okay, people, the Queen of Swords. So bringing that heart of compassion to this clarity, this airy expansiveness, this spaciousness. Yeah. The Queen of Swords, she's kind of all over my world, I'm the Queen of Swords. I'm other things too. I'm very much the Knight of Wands these days. That was my hub card for the year, Fire of Fire. But yeah, her, this sharp, clear-eyed vision, this watery heart, a card that carries grief for sure, because to know in that incisive way and to feel in that full watery way, that is one of the gifts that grief gives us. Yeah. So there you go. I remember that our jumper was the Fool. We can just step into the unknown here, and be willing to be this open heart and to see what we can see and feel what we can feel, and to trust moment by moment, step by step, foot by foot. Yeah. Okay, my lovely ones, thank you for spending some time with me, and thank you for your practice. Take care.